For them, the whole world is a foreign country, but at the same time, it is their home. The life of foreigners who live and work in Kazakhstan. Their experiences and their insights in a travelogue of a guest. Tune Radio Astana every Saturday at 3:20 p.m.
My name is Faruq Hunter, and I am from the United States, Georgia, from a town called Atlanta. We have a company there, and in the last year, launched subsidy of that company inside of Nur Sultan. And we are focused on doing big data, IT analytics, all the nice advanced big words around that lead to AI or artificial intelligence and machine learning. This is not the first time I've left the country. I've actually worked in 83 countries throughout my life, and I've launched our company in 7 other countries. And this is the third CIS country that we've worked in, including Kosovo and Moldova. But when we decided back in 2019 in January that we wanted to be a part of Asia's growth, we felt like it was just highly significant for our children that our family-owned company, which we are a company that is owned by a set of African-American Muslims in the United States, but our family, which is made up of about 250 Muslims, very unique in the U.S., we wanted to have our kids have a future that extended to all of the world that was successful, including Asia. We knew that we had to have a starting point, and Kazakhstan, through our research, was the absolute best place for us to start. And it was also the best place for us to bring our family. I'm not alone in Kazakhstan. I have a total of 14 children. 5 of them are here with me in Kazakhstan. 1 of them has a Kazakh birth certificate. And my brother is also here with me with his wife, and they're having a baby in Kazakhstan as well. We're just actually enjoying Kazakhstan a lot. And to give some idea of that, we live in Atlanta. Atlanta is like big city that's surrounded by a country, more village type space. So you can go in the big city and do big things, but then you can go back with your chickens and your cows and all that stuff later back on. And Kazakhstan gives us that wonderful feel. You know, we like working in China, we like working in Singapore, Hong Kong, all these other places, but it's so nice to come back to Kazakhstan where you have 5-star restaurants and beautiful places, but then you can go right outside and go shop at the bazaar and you can do stuff, and we've been received very well. Kazakh hospitality is just freaking awesome. I moved to Kazakhstan in September last year, and it was also the first time I ever came to Kazakhstan. You know, we came in at night, so it's always great to come in at night and get settled, and then wake up in the morning and then look out, and then the first sight was directly on the expo. So that's like, wow, like this place is really advanced, this is really up to par. And so that was the first impression that we had. But I can honestly tell you that I've been up in Ikibastuz, I've spent time in Shymkyn, I've spent time in other places in Almaty and other places, both rural and this, and I'm still saying wow. Because even if I go down a dirt road to somebody's house and I get a big old plate of pilaf or bishpamek, I'm happy as I can be. And being sat at the head of the table, all that stuff that Kazakhs do that is just awesome when it comes to the guests, you know, I'm always wow. Okay, so we wanted to tell the world that this company started in Kazakhstan. And so we looked for a word that actually represented that. So the word was Qosil. Qosil, connection. And so we now have a Kazakh name on our company that we promote to everybody, whether they're American, Kazakh, Chinese, we don't care. We want to keep that pride that we started in Kazakhstan with this particular company. So probably the biggest thing is that, we chose Kazakhstan for a reason, right? There's a couple of reasons. First, just the personal reason. The personal reason was that when we looked at Asia and we saw, hey, here is this big movement that's happening. China is, of course, one of the leaders in changing Asia and what it looks like. We looked at the fact that President Xi Jinping first came to Kazakhstan in order to announce the One Belt, One Road project. That made it significant, that Kazakhstan is very significant to Asia's change. Second, we thought about that. Kazakhstan is actually inland. Of course, you have Malaysia, Indonesia as Muslim countries. But as a majority Muslim country, Kazakhstan is the first that's inland. And then from there, the entire growth idea of Asia and the One Belt, One Road covers mostly Muslim majority countries. And as Muslims who grew up in the United States, I'm second generation. My father was an imam. After being that, it was important for us to be in a place where our children would be happy, where I could walk to the mosque and do prayer in the morning, and where my kids would be comfortable. I have 9 daughters, where they would be comfortable wearing the hijab, and the ones who didn't want to wear it could do that too. And they would all feel good in a modern Islamic environment. And Kazakhstan was just screaming, we are a modern Islamic environment. That was beautiful. So that's the personal reason for my family. It just feels great. So the results on that is the kids love it. They're here doing great. Business-wise, it also meant that Kazakh people had similarities to us because as African Americans, we were also extremely negatively impacted by colonialism, by the world wars and other things that brought about some of the hardships in Kazakhstan. And what we find is with these connections between a similar background, similar focus morally, that we are finding a lot of partners in Kazakhstan. And we find the ability to connect with them, not just with our business, but on the personal level as well. And that, of course, enhances our business and our ability to do things. So our success rate has been very good. We've been able to engage some of the largest companies here, like BI Group and ERG, and start to work with them on how we can share our knowledge. Last but not least, because we come from that similar background, because we understand what it means to have someone from outside come and take or press themselves on to set other people, we instead have come with the idea in our business on how do we work together as brothers? How do we give you what we have? And we, of course, want to be compensated for it. But our purpose for giving it to you is to build you up, not just to make you dependent on us. And that has gone over really well. And we want to continue to do that, to show that there is a brotherhood between a set of people from the US and the people in Kazakhstan on every level, the business level, the family level, and all of that has been very prosperous. We are at the AIFC, plus we market the AIFC to other American companies because first it has the International Arbitration Court. And the International Arbitration Court gives us the ability to actually work in any country in the world and utilize the United Nations. The United Nations has an agreement amongst other countries that allows an arbitration court to make a ruling and then for that ruling to be enforced in every country that's part of the agreement. So that's very helpful. That's one. Two, there are tax incentives for us to be here that we basically keep us from having to pay personal tax, corporate tax until 2065. There's also an incentive for us to come and utilize the office space. We right now are in 2,000 square feet or 200 square meters of office space, but we get 50 square meters of that without charge until the end of 2021. And then last but not least, we're in the Islamic financing hub. So we have direct access to all of the financial resources within inside of the hub, as well as with inside AFSA and AIFC. And that includes people who come from overseas, from other regulatory authorities, as well as other financial institutions. We have the ability to liaison with them, and also the AIFC and their different departments are extremely functional in ensuring that us, the AIFC participants, have introductions and have opportunities to meet, intermingle, network, and find ways to work with those different financial institutions as well. It's an excellent opportunity. And the last thing I do need to mention is this. One of the things that makes it so that we can use Kazakhstan as our Asian hub, without this it would be impossible, is the fact that once we register our companies at the IFC, within 5 days of that registration, we get 5-year visas to stay without having to put, in countries like Malaysia and other countries, there's a requirement that 51% of your company is owned by a local. We get 100% ownership of our company. And then secondarily, there's requirements that you have to put very large sums of money into the bank. Like in Malaysia, it can be anywhere between $150,000 to $500,000. Even in the United States, the EB-5 program, their visa program requires $500,000 investment as well. So it's a common structure that restricts a lot of people from doing business in those places because they can't get the visas to stay. But Kazakhstan has done something revolutionary in Asia by allowing business owners to be able to stay and care for and run their businesses by having the visas. And it extends it out to their family and extends the regime that we can hire people from anywhere in the world and extend the same privilege to anyone we hire. So we're able to take advantage of what I think personally is more of an American concept, and that is utilizing the world's knowledge to build up companies because we have people from so many different places in the world that we can pull knowledge from. In Kazakhstan, rapidly, you can bring in knowledge from all over the world, get them to stay here long term, employ them, and start using them to build up your company. So all of that is an extremely huge plus and something that was a big pull to bring us into Kazakhstan. I'm committed to only hiring Kazakhs. We brought a couple of Americans with us, but only enough to teach other Kazakhs so that we can transfer our knowledge back over. And we hopefully would see very soon that we would have nothing but Kazakhs, even to the point where I remove myself and put a Kazakh managing director over our company. That is the goal. I'm the third oldest of 14 children. It's kind of common for me. People think having a lot of kids is hard, but having a lot of kids is not hard. What you do is my oldest son is 24, and then my youngest son, of course, is 2 months old. What happens with that is you have a set that you put a lot of energy into, and you make them strong, and you give them morality and education. And then the next set, they kind of fall in line because the other ones help them up. And quite frankly, to be really frank, as a Muslim, I believe strongly that you shouldn't have a fear of having children. You know, people in our society, even back at home in the United States, have a fear of having children. They always fear that they won't be able to feed them, they won't have enough money, they won't have anything else. But I, for one, know for a fact that, and this is just the religious side of me, I know that God sends you provisions with your children. There's so many Islamic concepts integrated, even in the language of Kazakh, you know, and in the philosophy. You have, what is the word I'm looking for? That background of people who live simple lives, who live in yurts, and there's this philosophy around that was grown as a national identity, way before everybody, you know, had fancy houses and lights and everything else. And that what is preserved in the Kazakh language, and it's preserved in some of the Kazakh heroes. Right? And because of that, it's now part of Kazakh culture, that there's this essence of doing things a certain way. And to be quite honest with you, I think that's why I like Kazakhstan so much. Because even in the United States, we have more of an Anglo-Saxon Christian type methodology that's converted itself into a modern methodology of what I can say is kind of whatever you do is good. And I don't believe in that. I believe that good is good. And treating people good is good. And to maintain that culture, to maintain those systems, to maintain the fact that if someone finds out that you're a bad person to your mother or a bad person to your father, then everyone is mad at you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. That's something we've lost at home, but it's something my family benefits from. So even when I expose my children and my wife and myself and my siblings to Kazakhstan, they start to see that the Kazakh culture reinforces family. It reinforces the strength of the culture and the elements that are needed to make people successful and good people at the same time. It's horrible to see a Kazakh abandon what he knows is basic Kazakh methodologies of morality and culture. For us ourselves, we've kind of lost the path as a people. And it's great to have another set of people we can connect with who can then reinforce those concepts with us. It makes my child more respectful to me to see a Kazakh child more respectful to his father. I'll give you one circumstance. Like my wife was teaching a class. She teaches English here over by the embassy, by the U.S. Embassy. And I had been asked by one of our Kazakh friends to come to Ekibastus and go spend time with their family for a couple of days. I told my wife, I said, okay, let's take the children, let's go. She said, oh, I have the class to teach tomorrow. I said, listen to me. It's enough that you tell the class that you were invited by someone and your husband said you have to go, and they'll understand. Now, from an American standpoint, she said, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think they'll understand. I said, I guarantee you they'll understand. And she did, and they, okay. It was good enough because the Kazakh culture reinforces the family, its structure, everything else, and that's beautiful. So, my name is Faruq Hunter, and you've been listening to my travelogue. This is your brat saying have a really good weekend.
For them, The whole world is a foreign country, but at the same time, it is their home. The life of foreigners who live and work in Kazakhstan. Their experiences and their insights in a travelogue of a guest. Tune Radio Astana every Saturday at 3:20 p.m.